Good evening and welcome back to the Bear Cave. I'm Teddy and you are listening to Night Talk. So go ahead, grab a glass of wine and join me. I just grabbed my Gatorade. Yeah, I got a tall one tonight. How's everyone? How are my other bears? I call them grizzlies and the honey bears. Well, last night, did y'all have fun? Kind of at the end, right? I saw something else today. How about you? On a serious note, let's turn this music down a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Turn it all the way off because this is. Did you see the I guess you could say the meeting press conference in the Oval Office uh, when President Donald Trump sat down with President Vladimir Zelensky? It turned into such a heated exchange. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. It was astounding. My jaw dropped. My jaw dropped. And so, I'm not looking at any papers or anything. I'm just giving my kind of a quick reaction to it. But President Zelensky was describing the history of the treatment of Ukraine by President Putin of Russia. And he was just setting it up in my mind, going back, talking about the dates when just before he had responded to Vice President J.D. Vance, who was talking about diplomacy. And he came back and basically said, again, this is in my own words, what would that look like? And what do you mean diplomacy? And then he went on to describe in 2014, in 2015, when there was this signing agreement between Ukraine and Russia and, different European countries, and that it was broken. So basically, how can he trust, if there's an agreement that it's going to be kept? Because in the past, Putin broke the agreement. And, I don't want to be so graphic, but did so much harm and destruction. And I'll just say death came to, many of his people. So then, well, I would want you to hear it, but then I was just getting ready to get into something. It was like nothing I'd ever thought that I would hear. It was like a discussion that should have been behind closed doors. It got so heated. Did you see it? Maybe I can. Let's see. Oh, I had it pulled up on. Let's see. See if I can go back. So I could just play just a little bit of it.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influenced.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influenced.
Let's see if I can get to the point where what
Diplomacy,
JD was
that's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Wait a minute, here.
Sure. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, parts of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversations, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American.
For me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly
Listen to
in
what
love
he's
with,
saying to him.
you know, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Now, listen to, again, how President Zelensky responded to Vice President J.D. Vance.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So He occupied it, our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I
he
was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position to
this question.
dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
Playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling.
I'm going to keep playing it, but I had to stop it there. He said, President Trump told him, you don't have the cards. President Zelensky said, I'm not playing cards. You know, like, listen, I mean, this got really heated.
With the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's back to you, far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment.
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
that there,
thank you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
is-
with me.
It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make,
Um,
because the attitudes have to change.
Wow.
what if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia
I just felt so embarrassed. Now, I may agree on different things, but today I felt so embarrassed for President Zelensky. We're supposed to be his ally. And it got into this shouting match and telling him you're not thankful. And I can't even say really. Like making him grovel, you know? I get it. Americans have, given him billions of dollars. But I really can't remember when I've heard him speak, and I'm talking about President Zelensky. I'm just talking about what I recall. Hang on. It seems, and I'd have to play the tapes back, but he was always saying thank you to the president, to Americans for, helping in this war. And it was as if they were speaking to him like he was a child. This is just my impression. And he did not lose his composure at all. He kept saying things like, Mr. President, I'm talking about President Zelensky, too. I didn't, I wasn't inside of the Oval Office. You could see it. You could watch it. There were a lot of people that had their head in their hands. They could not believe what their ears and were hearing and their eyes were seeing. He called him a dictator to his face. And then he, you heard him talk about, he could be throwing this and, causing World War III. I mean, it's like, make this deal. And then President Zelensky is trying to say later when he was on with Brett Baer that it's just not numbers. These are people, these are families, and they voted their president in, and he's being asked to resign by others outside of his country. He'd consider it, but he wants some type of something in the deal. You know, I just I could listen to it, at least, several more times before I would really discuss, really discuss how I felt. But on the surface, I don't know, I just felt embarrassed. I did. The way he was being spoken to in front of the whole world, the audience. I can see behind closed doors. I think that was it. And then it was, like both of them. And some of the points were well made, but I think it was just the way it was delivered to President Zelensky. You would think that, well, I'll read some of your comments and then I'll get into what I was going to. Like they wanted him to. Gia Babaya says, but Vance was the one who began the egging on. Well, he did. If you listen to it, really stop and listen to it. President Zelensky was basically responding. Well, what is the diplomacy you're talking about when, he's broken the promises in the past? I get that, yeah, we want a deal. We want peace. Trump wants peace. But it's like, crush him, Ooh. Gia says, exactly, Teddy. He was belittling him like a child. But that's only because they have no manners. I was just surprised, really. To another president of a, country, that was hard to listen to. It really was. And he was respectful in spite of it, but they said he was, came in, this is what Van said, being disrespectful to, in the office. And when you listen to President Zelensky later, he was just, trying to explain why, to speak. And then Brett Baer asked him, are you going to apologize? And he didn't think he did anything wrong. Really. I'm not judging all the words and, everything that goes on with making, big major decisions, but like, this is huge. And then to mention that could throw, I don't know. I'm holding back saying some things, because I have to really, really weigh it. But overall, I felt embarrassed, and for the office of the president, I felt embarrassed for President Zelensky. I just felt shock. It was just shocking. Hmm. Uh, all right. So at the bottom we have Viva. Welcome. Says me too. Felt like it was a setup. Can you imagine if that had been uh, Vice President Harris speaking like that? I can't even imagine it. Um, Again, I have my opinions on, I take things one by one, but I couldn't for this one. And I'm not the only one. And I think it's going to come down a little bit on both sides. Yeah. People are going to be talking about this. And I just hope that somehow there can be some diplomacy to get him back to the table. I think, I won't quote the president exactly, Trump, but it was like when President Zelensky is ready to, make peace, then he can come back. But today, and they didn't even basically out, right? Out. They were supposed to have a joint press conference after the meeting, and it was like everybody out. President Zelensky left the White House, and it was like, wow. It just felt humiliating. I don't know. Uneasy. Yeah. This is so typical of the Republicans. They all act like Marjorie. That was the first time kind of hearing Vice President Vance. I was like, sat up and like, really? Wow. And they were like pointing at him, like pointing at President Zelensky like he was a child, kind of condescending, very, I just, and he's there. Of course, he's the president of Ukraine. He's like his people are, dying, and he's pleading too. I mean, for his people. Yeah. I can really say exactly what, but this feels it feels like we're moving towards something that is really going to be a shift. I mean, a world shift. It feels like something that I can't really or want to describe. It just feels. I don't even. It is. It feels. Not just feels, but a fulfillment. We are living in a time that is. I think we're going to see some things that have never been seen before. I don't. Anyway. Yeah. Let's see. Little Moon. Hey, it says, seriously, I understand if he don't want to come back. This was horrible and don't look good for us. The world is in shock. I think a lot of leaders might. European leaders, I don't know how it's going to sit with our allies and the Europeans. Maybe President Zelensky can, you know, with other European nations, like France and the others. And maybe they can help to bridge this gap, this gulf that seemed to be created today. Yeah. Yes, Viva. He did. They started talking about what he was wearing. Well, President Zelensky, he's dressed like that. His people are in war. Like, he has talked about that. And then someone said, well, look at Elon Musk. He was in the Oval Office. He's usually, wearing, when you see him, he's wearing, a T-shirt and his cap, his black MAGA hat and his blazer black, all black. And so President Zelensky, like a general, he's, I don't know. I didn't feel uncomfortable with the way President Zelensky was dressed because he has spoken about it before. When he is met early on in the war, he had all the fatigues and, yeah. I don't know. No, I didn't hear that part. Zelensky, he is in mourning. He has lost, his troops. He's basically been told, they're so belittled, like they're not warriors, like you're nothing without us. That's what was, you would have been wiped, basically. You couldn't withstand Russia for, he said, 2 weeks, Trump. And Zelensky came back and said, 2 days, basically. He knew that. He understands that. And they were saying, well, you're not grateful, basically. I've never gotten the impression, this is just me, that President Zelensky was not grateful or not thankful. And yes, I've spoken. We spend a lot of money. Have given him a lot of money to help in the fight. Yeah, I don't know. People will talk about it for a long time, I think. Yes, he stayed stoic. He did. And his body language and President Trump, he leaned in a little bit. He was very close and, with his hands and it's, right at him. I know that's supposed to be what? I mean, like, make this deal. Like, this isn't how you win. And I get it, but wow, I think we just saw quite a bit. It was hard to watch. Yeah. So, didn't know I was going to talk that long about it, as I planned to, maybe do it during the day. But it's very important, extremely important. Yeah. because we don't know as a nation what we are going to have to face and be thrown into. And it was like President Zelensky saying, we're going to trust Russia. We're going to trust President, Putin. He's basically, to him, he's broken promises before. So it's like, careful. He was speaking his truth. He was, wow. Viva says, my brother reminded me that Ukraine was where they left all them Africans stranded that time during evacuation. I remember that. That's right. When they were evacuating, and there were many students, right, who were trying to get out. This was in the early stages of, get out as the war was beginning. Yeah. Wow. I hadn't thought about that. And for President Zelensky to still be, standing, fighting, pleading, and, trying to comfort his people and comfort his soldiers so that they go out, I can't imagine. He has to be strong. He has to be. I don't see him as a weak person. No, anyone that, in a war, he can't be. Not the way it was coming across. That's just my opinion. I mean, mentally, he has to be tough. Yeah. Trump is tough. Wow. Art of the deal. You take this deal. Wow. Okay. If someone is saying that, basically, we'll stop. But you got to take this. And you're on the losing side. Basically, that's what it was. What he was saying. You're not going to win without, help. True. Can you see why he wants to be part of NATO? Yeah. And doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon because we'd be dragged right into it, into the war. Yeah. But I don't like this talk of World War III. Yeah. Anything else on that before I move on to something else? I know. I say tough like this image, like, You say he's not tough, Teddy. He's weak. Maybe there's just another word that would better describe it, the way I think of it. I'm not, I can't get into, his head and why and, all the history and back and forth. But there's, things happened some years ago, too. Yeah, was listening. Remember when basically when President Zelensky was asked in some kind of way to investigate Hunter Biden by, um, I'll just say alleged by President Trump, and President Zelensky didn't want to be involved in that. Yeah. So there's a lot of you know I don't want to say posturing, but there's some history here maybe. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Yeah, subscribe to Unwind with Teddy. Run tell that too. Um Boy, my channels, I haven't even been over there. I just feel I look at that. I'm looking at the names of Inatosh the Machine. All my videos, I just pulled them, privated them. Okay. Back to this. Nope, he's the butt of the world. So true. I wonder now if he wants. Is this how peace? How you negotiate peace deal? You gotta, the two parties. Yeah. Hopefully there will still be an open door, right? But think about, people in history that really knew how to have diplomacy and, did it. Think about some of the great leaders, right? Who would come to mind? Nelson Mandela comes to my mind. I could imagine how he would speak, with wisdom and grace. Yeah. But everyone's different. Different leaders. But yeah. Okay. So last night I started telling you guys got back to that story, and I had said, think about a picture, remember? And I was talking about the interrogation of Daniel Elizabeth. And I said, well, maybe I have to play some of it to see what was said exactly. So I pulled up just a portion when the detectives, started, and she started just talking at the point. So I don't know. It's 10:51. Maybe I'll play just a few minutes. Would you like me to do that, or I'll play some music, or we'll keep talking about this? And this is very, very important. But I did say that I was going to come back today. I said, well, maybe I'll play a little bit of it tomorrow. Yeah. So why don't I do that? So listen carefully, and let's take this down for a minute. There we go. Now, keep in mind, this is from my life, so you might hear me speaking and, as well, but I'll turn my mic off.
This is the same form we read to you a while ago, okay? It's all the top, has all your information. I have to read those to you before you initial them. It says, before we ask you any questions, understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court. You have the right to speak to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions, have them with you during any questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, want to be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights, stop answering any question or making any statements. It says, I've read this form, which lists my rights. I've had this form read to me, and I understand what my rights are. By placing your signature there, are you indicating that you understand all 5 of those rights? Yes. Today's date is 7/28/16, and the time is 7:44 p.m. Below that says waiver of rights. Fully understanding the above rights, I waive my rights and agree to answer questions. No threats or promises have been made to me. No one has used any threat, pressure, or coercion against me.
You understand that?
Yes. And by signing that, you're agreeing to waive those rights and talk to us, correct?
A while ago, you stated you wanted an attorney, correct?
Do I need one?
Listen to me. A while ago, you stated you wanted an attorney, all right? And you wanted to talk with us. Are you waiving that right to have the attorney here now?
Like, meaning I'm saying I don't need one?
I'm just asking you. Are you waiving the right of an attorney to be here right now?
Yeah.
On your own will?
Yeah.
No one forcing you to do this?
No, it's fine.
No one asked you to do that?
Just,
Okay. Like I said earlier, Danielle, all we want is the truth, okay? When we got here the first time, that's all I said to you. Be honest.
it's not that.
That's all I asked you was earlier. Be honest, okay?
No, I want you to know it's not that I'm not trying to be.
We're gonna let you
We're gonna
explain.
let you talk.
We're gonna let you talk all you want to talk.
All we want is honesty.
Okay.
Okay? Like I told you before, we know things that you probably didn't know we knew.
Yeah.
Okay? So just be honest with it. From the beginning, what you know, what you were told, what you did, what he said, whatever. From A to Z.
Okay.
Interrupted her.
Later, I just want to see you and Grace before I go. I said, okay. So it was right when service ended. Not really sure time. Maybe it was 8:30 or 9, but it wasn't 10 yet. He came and Kanisha took my car. I told her to go. I didn't tell her where we were going. It was a silver Impala. Silver Impala. It was not new, but not old.
2 or 4 door.
It's a 4-door. It has a sticker on the back, I think.
Sticker?
Yeah, like something in the glass.
So think about it. Right from the beginning, she controls the narrative. She redirects, doesn't want Detective McCullough to ask the question.
In the back.
Is it like a temp tag or it's
No,
like
it's like a design.
a design? Okay.
Or something.
Who's called?
I remember. I don't know. The guy actually that was driving, his name is Gary.
Gary?
Mm-hmm. I don't know his real name. I just know I've seen him around.
He a white guy, black guy?
He's black.
About how old is he?
He's older. Yeah, he's
When you
older.
say older, what are you
He's
talking?
he's older than 30, definitely. Okay, so yeah, we left there. I got in the car, me and Gracie. I remember taking everything out of my purse, the car seat. I told Kanisha to go. We got in the car. He was driving.
Who was driving?
Gary.
Gary was driving.
Chum was already in the back. After a long road, there's some trailers.
DJ Nat.
The way too. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
You passed up Cracker Barrel and Jack in the Box.
I seen Cracker Barrel. There's a Cracker Barrel, yeah. Okay. We went to the trailers. There was a white car in the yard. I'm really not sure kind. It was dark. Really don't know what kind of car it was. And we got there, and he wasn't really saying anything.
You talking about Larry?
Yeah.
Because there was two guys with you. I need you to tell me names.
Gary and Larry.
Okay.
Yeah. Gary was driving. Chump. I call him Chump.
Okay.
Larry, but Chump was in the back. When we got there, we went in the house, and I don't know who this white man was. I'm assuming the other Gary knew him because they were talking more. He wasn't really saying much. He was just acting really strange. I can tell something was going on because he kept saying, I have to turn myself in. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. So I went to bed. Me and Gracie did not take a bath. I have my work pants on actually right now.
So I just paused it. So then she knew the name of the guy who was driving the silver Impala. But then he drove them to this trailer, and there was this white man. Is that what you heard when asked in the trailer? Okay, let's go
on. I woke up, it was like around maybe 1. My dad was texting me. I remember waking up to that.
1 in the morning or afternoon?
It was afternoon.
So you woke up like 1 o'clock today?
Pretty late. He said that he said that he was going to talk to a lawyer. That's the first thing he said. The lawyer's name is,
She's doing a lot of thinking.
I need to get back to my truck. He said he was coming right back, and he never came back. The guy Gary was still there. I remember I was scared to ask, and he bought me. That's who bought me to my car.
To what?
I need to get back to my truck. He said he was coming right back, and he never came back. The guy Gary was still there. I remember I was scared to ask, and he bought me. That's who bought me to my car.
Gary did?
And then my dad told me before we left.
What was Gary driving when he brought you to your car?
The same car.
An Impala?
Mm-hmm.
Is that Gary's house over there in Sulphur?
I don't know Gary. I've seen him a few times, but I don't know him like that. I don't.
Now, she says, and she was pregnant at the time. So Larry.
We talked to the manager you talked to when you called in. We talked to the manager. Okay.
When I called, I knew that I didn't have my car. I told them that I told them I didn't have a babysitter.
Was that the first or second phone call you had with the manager?
The first one.
Okay.
The second time I called, we were in a debate about who was going to take my shift, and it was a big ordeal, and that's when I was calling around.
So the first time you called, did you told him, can you get somebody to cover for me because I'm going to be late?
No, I told him I didn't have a babysitter.
And the second phone call, you told him you didn't have a babysitter?
No, The first time I told him, did y'all speak with Jared? Because he said he never spoke with y'all. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jared said he never.
We've talked to him.
Not Paul.
Quite a few people.
Paul or Jared?
We talked to the manager you talked to when you called in.
What was his name?
Because he specifically remembered your conversation. This is not a debate, honey.
Oh, no, I'm not debating with you at all. I know who I spoke with. I told him that I was going to be late.
Remember I told you that we already know the answers to the question we're asking?
And I'm telling you that I strictly told
you're
him.
up at 10 and you call.
Yeah, I called.
Which one? This is 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay. Before we look at it, though, we're going to have another form to fill out. Giving us permission to look at your phone, okay?
I must have skipped. Did you hear the you? And I'm telling you. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. But I saw something. I saw something else. Yeah. Gia. Yeah. It's that you. Yeah. All these videos. Private. I got to put them together and bring them out. Right? So people can hear the story. Yeah. Anyway. It's the and okay.
iPhone 6s.
What color is it?
White and gold.
The phone itself is white or something? With a gold case?
No, the back is actually gold.
Back?
My case is gold also.
You got a password on it? What's the password?
I have to give y'all a password.
I had to pause there. He said, got a password? Her response, I got to give y'all a password? That they're going.
I can show you my phone.
How can you prove you're not
in front of you? I'll unlock it in front of you and show you that I don't have any text messages. I really don't. If you bring me my phone right now, y'all know y'all took it back there. I can unlock it in front of you and show you. I can give you the number, but
So again,
okay. We need the phone calls you made to him. What phone numbers he called you from?
okay.
All right. You willing to do that?
Will he know that I did that?
We're not talking to him.
I don't want y'all to think it's not about him.
Are you scared of him? Because it's one of two things.
I'm not scared of him.
Listen, it's one of two things. You're either scared of him or you're protecting the fuck out of him. And if you keep protecting him, you're going to go to jail. And guess what? He going to be running around doing whatever he wants to, finding him another girl to get pregnant and have kids with her. So if you want to sit there and keep playing this game and be his big protector, then that's okay.
Y'all didn't hear about the incident in November.
No, I know about it.
Yeah, okay, I'm scared of him.
There's no doubt. But if you will help us get him, do you realize he goes to jail? He can't put his hands on you no more? You realize that?
Yeah. And my
My phone though. I don't
want your phone.
I know.
Okay. There's phone numbers on there he's using right now.
My unborn, I promise there's nothing, no text messages or anything I'm hiding.
There's phone numbers on there that he used. Now, I think you talked to him right before weekend. Well, would you
I talked no, it wasn't
minutes before we went out with you at your job. You talked to him
when we pulled up.
You were talking about him, right?
Yeah, it was right before.
Okay.
Yeah,
exactly.
it was.
So I'm gonna let you slide on that omission of the truth.
About what?
Because you said you didn't talk to him since he left the house. You didn't talk to him. You didn't see him. Gary took you to get your car. But
no, I said he left.
We're gonna. And you said you didn't talk to him again.
Oh no, I talked
so
to
we're
him
gonna
right
let that pass. That is the only time I'll let it pass.
She said she didn't talk to him.
Pass.
Okay.
I'm not trying to protect them, no.
It gives that impression. You're worried about a damn phone and your name being on this little piece of paper about a
Is
phone.
that paper one? Who's that paper? Who's on
That's
that?
what
Paper
me.
goes to us.
Nobody else.
No,
That's us.
that is for us.
That's giving us permission. This is the same thing you signed right here, basically. Giving us permission to get that information from your phone. That's all
That
it
is
is.
all it is. And you want to make it better than that? All we do is we hook your phone up to the equipment we have, and it pulls it off the phone.
It pulls what?
It pulls the information off the phone,
Okay.
and it puts it in a nice little report for us. And then when we're done,
You get your
here
phone
you go.
back.
You get your phone back.
You're worried about something that either makes no sense or you're worried about something that's on that phone between you and Larry, what you're talking about.
No, it's
Okay.
nothing that we haven't text, like I said.
But you've been talking to him
I talked to him
several times today.
It was like 2 or 3 times, yeah, more than once.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was more than once. But I
Okay.
can give you the number. I just don't know if I heard.
We'll get the number off, and then I'll bring you the paper, and you can show me what number it is.
And you know what's better than that? And by no means, I'm going to clarify something. We're not trying to coerce you at all, but you're worried that somebody will know you gave us his number. Guess what? You're not, because you don't know it. You said it's in your phone. You don't know it.
I don't know number. by
It's
heart.
in your phone. We take the information off your phone. You didn't give it to us. It's on your phone because you don't know it.
So I can say I took my phone.
You gave us
Tell him whatever the
consent.
hell you
Whatever
want.
you want, tell him. You can tell him.
Like the detective said, she was protecting him. That's what the detective said. Oh. All those questions. Yeah, I was skipping around some parts, you could tell. Yeah. There's a couple of coincidences. Well, there've been a lot of them, but there's something. There's something about. There's just something about this picture. I just can't figure it out. What do you say, baby Juju? Tears. Yeah. Someone else played that interrogation and, gave some commentary on it. It's very interesting what they had to say about it. Yeah. Yeah. And I played, the interrogation of all three. Yeah. That was a time, wasn't it? Because she likes Larry. Yeah, she said she was afraid of him, because he put his hands on her. Yeah. Which is, never right. Yeah. But then, she dropped anything against him, charges. So, and that can happen, with some women, who've been abused. they'll file, and then when asked about it, then they just decide to drop it. Yeah. Mm. But I wonder. I wonder why Larry would leave her with this person she didn't know. I don't know. Would that make sense? Hmm. Vicky says, I would have put my hands right back on him. Hmm. Hmm. Call the police. Report, never go back. Yeah. You never know how someone is going to um, deal with abuse. Yeah. And for the victim, it is, you know, it's very difficult. It is. Especially when children are involved. Hmm. Yeah. But that was years ago. Hmm. Yeah. Wonder why they didn't want that story to be told. Mm. Viva says she acting. Have you heard this story? Hmm. If you haven't heard this story, I'll just say that the charges were dropped against her for accessory after the fact. Okay, because she was uh, basically withholding information that to help them to find Larry, and then the police find Larry. And then Larry's charges were dropped, but the mother, Courtney, um, she served time for an accidental. It was ruled accidental. Uh, well, yeah, death. Hmm. I never once, ever, not once, said that Daniel Elizabeth was responsible for that child's death at all. I never once, not once, never, not once said that Daniel Robertson had anything to do with that. Not once. I never said it. Ever. Although she's claiming it. I've never. But it would be nice if she respond. you know, evidence. Because I'd love to hear a response. All right. Anything else? It's 18 past the hour, and it's getting late. Yep. Nope, never, ever, ever. But she wanted people to believe that. Even recently, you know, she's still got that post up. That backup channel. Yeah. Saying that I accused her of something about being involved in that. Yeah. Fraud. Yeah. A lot of lies going on. Y'all didn't know something recent. Yeah. Hmm. You know, it's kind of like things in the past that keep like coming back up. I don't know. They must have had a telethon one day and, you know, had all these different people call in, call these 800 numbers, call this number and that number. I wish they would. I just wish they would bring her in. You know, to talk to her, find out who she is. This anonymous person who's reporting. Yeah. I didn't even know some of the stuff I'm learning about. I just didn't know. Like I said, I don't know where this person gets this kind of time to file so many different reports. Had I known about more of these, they could have been included, you know, too. But remember, I told you I just don't know what I don't know. Yeah. Mm. But yeah, there was something that I saw. I did. I said, ah, that's it. You ready to say goodnight? I am. She's such a chicken poop. It is the last day of February, and March is coming in just like a lion. It is. It was windy today. Yep. Tomorrow, it's March 1st. Yep. Oh, you don't hear my TikTok. All right. So that'll do it for me. Might as well. Yeah, I'm going to stop here. Biggest bear hugs go out to all the Grizzlies. You can email me at unwinewithteddy@gmail.com. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow sometime. Yeah. Maybe. I tried this morning. I couldn't. I was just Tied up. I couldn't. Yeah. But keep your bare phones on. And yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll get back to the other story. How about that? There's a lot of stories going around right now. Had y'all heard? Okay. I'm done. All right. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Good night.